Okay, so you're going to use the text, the Wright Brothers here, to do your weekly point of view, SPO, and frame paragraph. Okay, so I wrote the date. I put my name, March 2nd, 21, and then I put the name of the article, Wright Brothers. I know that it's an informational text, and I gave the main idea. Two brothers. It was about two brothers. And what did they do? They invented the first working airplane. Notice I'm not writing sentences. Okay. What was the Wright brothers' opinion about inventing? Well, they believe they were great inventors because they like creating and building things. Do I agree with them? What's my opinion? Is my opinion similar or different? My opinion is similar. I agree with them because they were excellent inventors. Okay, and I'm getting evidence from the text. It says over here in the one, two, three, four, five, sixth paragraph, while at the bicycle shop, they came up with the idea of an airplane. After years of work, they created a glider. They tested the glider in 1900. The glider failed to fly. Okay, they didn't give up though. The brothers did not cry over spilt milk. Instead, they tried again in 1901. A year later, they still needed to improve their design. The brothers tested over 200 wing and frame designs. In 1902, the next year, they came up with a successful unpowered glider. So it took them 2 years to come up with a successful unpowered glider. Okay. After that, the brothers designed an engine to power a plane. The plane was a two-propeller plane. They began testing the plane the following year in 1903. Okay. After a trial with the engine stalling, the brothers were able to fly the plane for 12 seconds. The first airplane was called the Flyer. The plane flew 120 feet. The flight took place in a town called Kitty Hawk. This town was in North Carolina. This was the first successful flight ever. Only 2 days later, the plane flew for 59 seconds. Throughout the next years, the brothers kept creating more planes. Eventually, they opened up their own company called the Wright Company, and they also built and sold their airplanes. The now famous plane, the Wright Flyer, is on display at the National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. It's an amazing piece of history. So, text evidence. I agree that they were excellent inventors because in the text it says when they owned the bicycle shop, they created and tested a glider which failed, but they didn't give up. They tested over 200 wing and frame designs until in 1902, they successfully came up with an unpowered glider. According to the text, they also created an engine to power a two-propeller plane called the Wright Flyer, which now is on display in the National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. And here's my conclusion. Clearly, one can see how the Wright brothers were amazing inventors. Okay. Okay, so now I come over here and I write my paragraph. Now, I took out all of the lines. Okay, when I'm typing, I take those lines out so it doesn't look confusing, so that I have a polished piece that looks like this. I read the text to Wright Brothers. It is an informational text that is mostly about how two brothers created the first working airplane. The brothers believed they were great inventors because they liked creating and building things. Okay, I'm going to add something. They never, they never gave up. They never gave up when things failed. I agree that they were excellent inventors. I agree too. I agree too that they were excellent inventors because in the text it says when they owned the bicycle shop, they created and tested a glider which failed, but they didn't give up. They tested over 200 wing and frame designs until in 1902 they successfully came up with an unpowered glider. It took them 2 years. It took them 2 years to accomplish this. In addition, okay, I'm going to say in addition, in the text, in addition, in the text, in the text, they also created an engine to power a two-propeller plane, later called the Wright Flyer, which now is on display in the National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. The Wright brothers opened their own business and sold airplanes too. Clearly, one can see how the Wright brothers were amazing inventors and did not give up on their dream. Okay, so this is what you need to do. Okay, make it your own. Do not just copy what I'm doing, okay, because there's other evidence in the text that you can use. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing, and this video will be on the stream, and I'm also emailing it to your parents. It will be at the top of the stream. This is something that I will be checking on Thursday and Friday, and I will be leaving comments. This is also something Mr. Bill will be checking. He will be coming into the Google Classroom, and he will be checking to see if you have your books typed, okay? He will be checking to see if you are doing your weekly writings. So see, I already have two. Okay, I did Donut Deal from last week, and now I have the Wright Brothers from this week. And what I'm doing is I'm putting the most current one up top. I'm making a copy of a blank SPO, a blank frame paragraph, and I'm copying them and putting them up top. Okay, and I have my dates. Okay, so that's how I'm doing that. Okay. And you can use this also when citing text evidence, according to the text, according to the author stated in the text it states. You can use these sentence starters to help you with that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to put this video on the stream.